Hello. We're here and I haven't quit yet, but I'm thinking about it.
You won't. You love us too much.
Are we ready to go?
Yes. It's funny that it's kind of funny you changed that button at the last minute because I was going to do the text sound, but
It's a fart
we'll
week.
do that. It is a fart week. Welcome to episode 116 of Here We Crow. And, we're not as up and about as we were in previous weeks after Gather Round.
Really.
Gather Round, I think we can all agree, was a resounding failure.
Sure.
It started off with the Crows losing. It finished with Port winning. Couldn't get much worse for Crows fans, I don't think.
Terrible.
But we are here. We are here to dissect the loss to Headband FC by 19 points. Their score of 119 wasn't lost on us. However, they had to be against us, which was not fun. And it doesn't get any easier with GWS this week, who've won 4 out of 5 against us, including 3 at the Adelaide Oval. So, Ben,
Cool.
I'm going to just change the subject and hand over to Ben for 116.
116,
Oh,
yeah.
we're not ready. Right.
Yeah.
And hello, Dan.
Oh,
Nice
sorry.
to
I
see
always
you.
forget to introduce people. Hello, Lauren. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, Dan.
And control room, Sam is a late out, which has thrown us all into turmoil. But Lauren has been up to the task and has set us up ready to go.
Yeah, I'm about to lose my shit, so I'm just going to be quiet.
And I have noticed this week, I don't know if we're going to be able to debut them, any of them this week, but you've been very busy on your stingers, trying
Yes.
to come up with a whole bunch. I
Yeah, sorry, can't play them.
Can't play him this week.
noticed there wasn't I didn't hear anything about a Ben Stats segment stinger.
Well, I
In
did
the works.
put a call out and say if there's any other stingers I need to think of. But that's a good
Okay.
call out, Ben. Thanks for telling me on live on air.
Consider it called out. There we go.
Cheers.
All right. Anyway, 116, not worth the wait. Debut player, one young Evan Hewitt. So
Leighton's brother.
maybe not, probably not. No.
Vaguely rings a bell.
Yeah, he's originally from WA, so I think the Leighton theory is pretty unlikely.
Leighton.
15 games, originally from WA, as I said, played for North Melbourne before coming across to us. Didn't really get a chance with North because he was behind like Carey and McKernan. And then he had 13 games in a season with us and then 2, and then he was done.
That was it.
So not a great deal. Post-football, much like the Crows, my form has really dropped off in this regard. Came out strong, lots of info. Couldn't find bugger all about Evan Hewitt, so my assumption is he's moved back to WA.
Josh reckons he's a curly-haired dude. Is that correct? You've got a picture there, don't you? You usually
I've got
do.
a short-cut haircut.
Oh, a shortcut.
picture.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, Josh,
so-
don't hide that comment now.
So maybe. It might have been if he grew it out. But so Evan Hewitt, how about that? A key marking forward that never really quite was.
Amazing.
Yep. So 2016. So we had the 15 season with Nuz middle of last week.
Yes.
So we're on to 2016. Do we remember where we finished the minor round there?
Oh, yeah.
6th.
No, it was lower, I reckon. 11th?
Well, I think Lauren was a lot closer. It was 5th.
Oh,
Hey!
I thought it was
So
lower.
there you go. No, we won 16, lost 6. So yeah, pretty solid season. Club champ.
What did you say, 2015?
16.
2016.
Dangerfield.
Dangerfield was no longer playing
Yeah,
for
he-
the Crows.
Alright.
Playing for the Crows. 2016.
Way off tonight,
2016,
Jesus.
2016. What was it? Rory Laird?
No.
Rory Sloane.
Rory Sloane.
I was
It
that.
wasn't
I was
Rory,
actually
yeah.
going to say Sloaney, and then I remembered
Yeah,
Laird existed. So
No,
it was a Rory at least.
It was, yep.
Not
And
Atkins.
this time of the year, just go with a Rory, and you're pretty likely.
Mm-hmm.
So, Leading goal kicker?
Tex.
Nope.
Oh, who was the other one? Who was last week's?
Eddie.
Eddie. Eddie again?
Eddie again.
Eddie again.
So 3 times
Double
in a row.
Eddie.
And this year he kicked 75 goals, 31 behinds.
That's a fair
For
effort.
a small forward.
Miss those days.
That's that is amazing work. You
Pretty
kind
good.
of you kind of forget you know that they've been fantastic for the club, but you kind of forget just how fantastic a player he was. So it wasn't just the flashy freak goals. He consistently got a whole lot of goals. So very good. Now, interesting to me facts. That was our first year of Don Pike, probably a time where we thought, oh yeah, this is a pretty good coach. He's going to be taking us to good places.
I don't know if anyone thought that really, Ben, did
Well,
they?
16 wins, 6 losses. We're going pretty well.
Yeah, but wasn't the residual feeling that he was just taking over what Phil had set up?
Well, it was very much a similar sort of someone who'd been around the traps for a long time, experienced, steady hand. Apparently not as steady as we thought longer term, but he did experience at least a slightly wider Sanderson spike. So
The Sanderson Spike. That's a good band name.
But his other side of the spike dropped
Yeah.
right down.
Plunged, you could say.
So there you go. We played a couple of finals. We beat North at home by 62, but then we went down to Sydney in a semi by about 6 goals. So
Not our time.
not our time in 16, and wow, it's a mystery what happened after that.
Who knows?
Let's see.
We'll never speak of it.
Anyway, 16
Next week we
draft.
might.
This is also the start of where we go, what was going on with our drafting? So 16. Pick 15, we got Jordan Gallucci
Oh, this is
for 21 games, 27 games. 44, we picked up Miles Paholke.
Paholke, the pool man.
16 games. Pick 51, the Dragon, Elliot Milberg for 50 games, 50 of the best. And pick 62, Matthew Signorello for 0 games. Pick 75 was the start of the much maligned Ben Davis.
Oh, Benny.
Yep, gave us 11 games. I don't remember which season it was, but he made that debut against Geelong in Geelong, and that was just a lovely way for him to start his career. And then we had a couple of rookies in Sam Shaw and Ben Jarman.
I think Sam Shaw was re-rookied at that point, or brought back on as a
Either
rookie.
way, he played 0 games.
Yeah.
So what a year.
Good times.
Wow.
That really set us up for the long term, didn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So,
Can't wait till next
all right,
week.
So much like the general start to this episode, that was my underwhelming stats for the week.
Well, thank you so much, Ben.
Brilliant.
I love
worries.
it.
I think we're going to rip the Band-Aid off and get straight into chat about the game. Can I press this
That's
one?
not the button.
Oh, I wanted to do that one.
Oh, Sam,
I mean-
Sam never left.
I think that's how we all feel. I was going to press out of bounds on the fall. Anyway.
Yeah, don't we use that later?
I don't know, but it's funny. Yeah, we do. Anyway, don't worry about me. Yes, the Geelong game. It was it promised so much, and it was pretty disappointing in the end the way it finished. A lot to unpack and lots to talk about. I just felt like the Crows, after 3 great wins to start the season, that narrow loss to the Suns, which you could probably forgive at the time. We now seem a bit like a Scooby-Doo villain who's had the mask ripped off, and you realise it's the old Crows.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Don't be like that. I think it's too early for that.
That's how I felt.
It did feel very familiar.
Yeah.
It was almost like
Yeah.
I kind of just resigned myself at 3/4 time. I was like, well, let's just get through this last quarter and go
Yeah.
home.
And I think the thing that
You don't have your negative comments to bounce off Sam tonight. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the thing was, though, some of the deficiencies we picked up in the first couple, or particularly against North Melbourne, maybe a little bit against Essendon, leaking 100 points even though we thrashed them, and then the Gold Coast. It was obviously we've got a pretty leaky defence at the moment, and it was further exposed with resting Borlase and having Max Michaelini take on Jeremy Cameron as one example.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. And then, it goes without saying the mids, including Rob as Ruckman, didn't have the best game. The mids were pretty well covered by Geelong. If you watch, I've done a bit of a deep dive into Rob in particular because I think he's obviously one of the topics of the week.
Oh, Sam, like is really keen to get.
Is Sam on the chat?
Rob. Yeah, he is. He's. Can we discuss Rob? Please?
We can discuss Rob, Sam, and I've
I
taken.
think if you're not here in person, you don't get those Rob privileges.
Well, I've got. It's all right, Sam. I've got you.
He'll probably call in on the phone just so he can have his Rob rant.
I have done a deep dive into Rob this afternoon during work hours, and just watched back every centre bounce, I should say, of Rob, and there were 31 that he contested in the game. And I just wanted to bring it up, but in a more of a diplomatic sense, because I didn't want to just bag Rob based on the fact that he's had 2 weeks in a row, 5 disposals, and little impact around the ground. I wanted to, when Mark Bickley's gone on radio and sort of said, that the fans need to check themselves basically before they rip into Rob. And, I just wanted, at first that made me pretty angry because I was like, well, we can see, like we know what's going on in the game. But I was like, they were talking about his taps to advantage and how he wins more of those more often than not. So I wanted to sort of look at those centre bounces and see if that was true. And look, I will say for quarter one, Rob did a pretty good job. He won 4 out of 8, as well as getting a free kick, and a couple of those were hit straight to Solly, which he wasn't in a great position, but that could be argued that was his fault that he didn't get into a better position. So maybe not Rob's issue, but by Q2, he only won 1 tap outright. He had 7 that you could say were 50-50, and I think with those 50-50 ones, someone is judging whether he won that tap or not because there's no 50-50 stat in ruck. So
how does that work, Ben? Do you have any intel there, stats man?
I don't know your take. I know you're a big 50-50 man.
Well, I assume if it's
I thought you were going to say a big Rob man.
I assume with hit outs to advantage, if it's a 50-50, it's not necessarily an advantage, so it would go against the ruckman, would be my assumption. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they do it, but there were 7 that I think you could argue touched both of the ruckman's hands at the same time or something along those lines. There was one that he lost, one where he missed and he coughed it up directly, which resulted in a goal. So it wasn't his best quarter, but it actually got worse in the third quarter. He didn't win any taps outright in the third quarter, and the Crows only won 1 clearance. So we obviously got dominated in that third quarter. And in the last quarter, he actually came out a bit stronger, won the first 2 taps, but the advantage went to Geelong. He tapped it straight into Bailey Smith's hands both times, which resulted in Geelong's forward entries. So I think, when I was just being, again, diplomatic, because I think the pile on Rob it's out there and it's just going to keep happening. But I think when you look at it, he does compete really well in the ruck. He didn't win outright that many taps, as many as this whole dialogue about him winning more taps to advantage goes, because there were very minimal where the Crows actually won the clearance based on his tap. So you can watch it back and make your own decision, but I don't think you put our players in much of a better position. However,
I think the overall season-wide stat, though, he's got a reasonably decent figure for taps to advantage. So
Really?
Yeah, so I was just going to say two more things on it. Is one, the mids didn't do a good job. If you watch back, they really couldn't get clear of the Geelong mids. They were getting tackled straight away in many cases. There was only a few times they could really break free out of the clearance in the middle. And if the argument about Rob is that he's on par with a lot of the other ruckmen, that's why his work around the ground stands out like dog's balls, because he's not doing enough else in the game. So he looks really poor when he makes mistakes.
Well, I was going to say, Dan, I appreciate you've gone into a lot of, research here. But I think
that's a lot of someoe's afternoon to dedicate to watching Rob very closely.
But I do think that people's main issue with Rob is the around the ground stuff and the fundamentals of football, which is the kicking and the handballing, which doesn't seem to really be AFL level when you're looking at it face value.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted to go into it, because I wanted to sort of have a diplomatic argument about the fact he does put in the effort and he is good at competing at a ruck level, but then anything else outside of that, he's pretty useless. And
I saw Bix went into, he kind of compared some contested mark stats against other rucks. Rob's one of 3 rucks who haven't taken a contested mark this season at all. But Bix came out with some numbers for the other rucks, and some of them had only taken 2 contested marks or 3 contested marks, and that's fair. But I think it's pretty clear that the Crows are using Rob as a utility for contested marks. So for him to not be able to take them is a bit of an issue.
And sorry, Ben. The fact of the matter is that like Bickley and guys around the club are going to come out and defend him because we don't have someone else that is going to be able to compete to the level Rob is in the ruck. So we're going to get smashed in the ruck maybe. We don't know what McAndrew is going to be like yet. He's only played against Sandful bodies, so we don't know.
And
but
only occasionally in a Sandful.
Yeah.
They need their fair share of breaks in the Sandful. Another weekend off. So.
But what does exactly. But what does guys like who get asked in the media, let's say Matty Nix, Mark Bickley, etc. What do they gain by saying Rob's really having a poor time at the moment? Like they don't gain anything. He's got no one banging down the door to take his spot, and it just puts more emphasis on how we're going to lose more clearances. We're going to have someone who struggles against AFL bodies in the team potentially. We're going to be worse like we were last year when we brought in Strawn. So that's a list management issue. It's not Nixie's issue or anything like that.
And I would have, I haven't been watching him that super close for the whole season, but I would have thought his first 3 games weren't terrible.
Yeah.
So he definitely dropped off the last 2. So he really struggled against Gold Coast and this week against the Cats.
But that's not it's a pretty consistent theme with Rob when he starts to come up against really tough ruckmen like he has the last 2 weeks. He's not going to get an armchair ride this week against Briggs either.
No, well, his best is like, oh yeah, that was okay. Rob was pretty good. He was fine. But then his floor at the moment is being shown to be pretty low. So it would be nice to have someone putting pressure when he's in these form slumps. Obviously, Strawny got dropped off with his injury. Toby Murray was in the emergencies for a while, and then he's gone and done his ankle.
Oh, that's a shocker, isn't it?
And then you've got our new signing who can't get a game because the games aren't being played. So,
according to Vardy in the chat here, apparently Camporelli reckons McAndrew's nowhere near it.
Yeah,
nowhere near AFL level yet.
So that's not.
Well, I don't know if I care what he says, but
his form in the preseason looked promising.
I thought it looked okay.
I don't know how his tank is. It might, if he was to play, it would probably mean that there'd be more pressure on someone like Thilthorpe to spend more time out of the forward line and swap in.
Yeah,
swap
I
in
think
there,
it does look good with Filth in the ruck, to be honest. And I hate to say it, but it does give us a different look there, and it has worked for us the last couple of times.
Well, he has the follow up at ground level that Rob doesn't have. So, and marking around the ground he's built for marking. Our camera, I don't know if you can still hear me. The camera's gone a bit.
It's all right.
Falling offy. We're back.
I think in a second.
So,
sorry, the camera keeps dying on me. Just another fun thing for me to deal with tonight.
So, it'll be interesting to see McAndrew get a few games in the Sandful. Does Rob turn things around? Does he get back to the level where we're not praising him, but we're not necessarily baying for blood? We'll see. Yeah. Hopefully, we just need him to almost break even.
I think that's exactly what we need. I mean, some of the mistakes on the weekend, he wasn't alone. There are other players that were pretty average. I mean, Filthy had a really rough night, being double teamed a lot of the time in the forward line. They did try to throw him in the ruck in the middle of each of the quarters, and he did okay without being great. Like, he was great, obviously, against the Suns, but didn't have as much impact in the ruck this time when he was thrown in. Probably a few other players, though, really sort of had rough nights where they've been pretty good in previous weeks. Obviously, Alex Neil-Bullen was he didn't have much impact, only 12 disposals. Sholey, unfortunately, made a lot of mistakes and only had 7 disposals before getting subbed off. So you could probably argue he might get dropped this week, but we'll see.
My shoulder.
He might get saved by Peatling being out, I'm not sure. But Draper had a rough night as well. Obviously we forgive him given how many games he's had, but only the 7 disposals and a goal.
It was a nice goal.
It was a nice goal. And same could be said with Dan Curtin, only 5 disposals after some great games and 1 goal as well.
But having said that, the Huey Crow curse is broken.
It is. He actually
well done,
played.
Dan.
Yeah.
You got selected. You got through the game. You didn't get injured.
Sure, you were a shadow of yourself, but you played.
You were still on the field. Thank God for that. Thank God.
The last one I just wanted to call out was Solly as well. Only the 15 disposals and 4 clearances, so his impact was way down, and his disposal count as well. So not the best night for Jake, unfortunately.
It just wasn't a good night all round, really, was it?
Well, yeah. I mean, the first half and a bit, we looked all right. We looked really potent going forwards. The whole game, it felt like their centre clearance work was smoother and had a lot more impact than ours. But
Yeah.
It did on replay.
strangely, we apparently were 15 each with centre clearances, but I would say the quality of theirs was
Much better.
somewhat higher
Yeah.
than ours. Theirs was all getting right into their 50
Yeah.
zone. Ours was probably just quick kicks off the back foot. So it felt like they were hunting in packs in the midfield, whereas we were going it alone. So they could sort of help each other out to run it out. We were, really struggling to get anything of
And it's a
importance out.
really good point. I was watching it. There was a couple of centre bounces where it got tapped to Dawson, and he was really non-committal to picking up the ball and was getting easily pushed off of it by Geelong players, but by the looks. And he was the one that stood out to me as one that just really couldn't take them on. But you're right about them hunting in packs. There were plenty of times Saligo actually went for the ball and got tackled immediately, or Crouchy, same thing. So it was, they just killed us in there.
Yeah. And obviously we're a podcast that looks for excuses. So short break, humid game before. I think, you just have to deal with what you play, but I think there was an element of us being pretty gassed with some of those horrendous errors coming out of our 50 in defence in that last quarter that let them get away with the game.
I think it is a little bit of the element of, yes, we did have we've gone from short break to very short break with the game in heat in the middle. Not ideal, but unfortunately we can't really use that as an excuse. Geelong were on a 6-day break, we're on a 5-day break. But I think, Daddy says, we get exhausted because we can't lock down that defence, and we're just getting pummeled, and we were getting pummeled with the midfield. So between the two, the defence and the mids, they were all gassed because it was just such a massive contest the whole way through. And unfortunately, it is a shame that we coughed up such a nice lead, but we are playing Geelong. They're a very dominant, strong side. We are going to lose some games like this, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it's to them, and they're just smug bastards. I hate
It's true.
them and
They're
their
a little
bloody
bit smug. But how good was Danger?
Their headbands and their ball squeezing.
Yeah, Dangerfield was so good on Thursday night. It was actually a bit sad that he wasn't playing for us, to be honest. But that was one player who I thought, surely we're gonna get a good matchup on him because he played so well the week before, and that was like a Tom Stewart situation where we were just like, what did we do there?
We
Not
did give
much.
Noting that he got 4 goals and the first 2 are from free kicks, so I think we had Woozle on him at that point as well. But I will say, just on the topic of Danger, I was going to say the topic of good booing and bad booing. Bad booing Danger. Come on, guys.
Yeah, don't do that.
Just why?
Might get into a bit more of fan behaviour in the goods and bads segment that I'm taking over.
I'll let you get to that. But also good booing though. That bloody unpaid mark against Shoal that ended up in a goal.
That was the worst. That was an absolute shocker.
That was good booing though. I think we all enjoyed that one.
Quite the hostile environment, didn't it?
It did.
And,
it did.
I want to say to anyone listening out there who's not a Crows fan who thinks we're all sooks, we have umpiring PTSD.
But also, why are you listening?
You don't understand how it affects us as fans. We are so over it.
Yeah.
We are booing. We are booing bad decisions now.
We are.
Yeah, when you come off the week we've just had against Gold Coast and then things feel like they're going that same way again, people are going to react.
But we'll say we're not going to talk too many positives about the game because it was a bit of a shit show. But that first half and some of the exciting things, Tex's goals were fucking amazing.
Tex, again, on fire.
Fogarty's 4 in the second quarter.
Amazing.
Come on. Fogarty's game all round was pretty good, which we'll get to, I'm sure. But
we got to a 30-point lead, feeling like we were losing it out of the centre. So for that first half and a bit, our forward line, there's been a lot of talk about how we're too easy to play against, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Our forward line was potent as all get out.
They were, yeah.
It was, we get it in there, we're pretty much going to kick a goal.
Yeah.
Again, we couldn't keep it up, but geez, we looked good for a while.
We did. We're still missing Rash hard though, I
Yeah,
reckon.
yeah.
He's an extra element that we need.
We're
definitely
A quality
gonna-
little guy.
It's
Yeah.
interesting because I thought before the game started, I thought we actually did pretty well with selection, but I think questionably, I mean, Murphy, we're right to drop Murphy, I think, but the call on Borlase and not bringing in another big body was maybe not the best decision in hindsight. I don't know.
I did ponder that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I understand why, but also we actually did need Murray out there. We
Yeah.
did need a key position defender there.
I don't think Borlase would have helped us a great deal.
Yeah, and that's my question as well. I don't know if Borlase is the right one, but obviously they didn't feel like they had someone else in the wing
And I think
Jordan Butts must be carrying something still, surely.
carrying being shit.
And I kind of think
I don't know.
I kind of think whoever we had in defence in that last quarter with some horrendous kicking out, no one's defending the ball coming back that fast. So
No, but
we were in strife.
genuinely do wonder about Butts because I thought he would be, the one gunning for that position of Borlase. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe I know Nuz might have some intel.
Well,
I
he's
think
not having very clean pre-season. I think he's got a
Yeah.
lot of injuries that keep slowing him down. So I don't think his fitness is going the best.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll take it back, Butsy. If you
Do you want to talk about
unlikely
Fog?
to be listening? Yes.
Might as well throw in a Fog watch here. Why not?
Yeah, why not? We need segments. No, Fogg was amazing, obviously. Those 4 goals, I was just sitting there thinking how he didn't do much in the first quarter and then he just went bang, 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 bang. 4 goals.
Yeah.
Amazing. He's doing really well. I think last year and this year, he's obviously come of age a bit. So it's been awesome.
Yep.
Anything to add, Ben?
Nah, Fogg was good.
Do you have any other stats or anything?
Oh, can I talk about a little bit more about Fog?
Oh, go on.
Took off the Cooper's stat.
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought it wasn't
Didn't
real?
want to be a distraction, apparently. Well,
Just
you
got
should have had it. You should have had it. Actually, the distraction might have worked for us.
He just got that lasered off pretty quick, didn't
You
he?
might have put the.
What? A wet
Did
rag.
anyone actually think it was real?
Oh, people did. They
For
can't.
God's sakes, people! Like the guy's not getting a giant bicep tattoo 4 days before he has to play a
Kane
game
Corns
of footy.
definitely thought it was real.
It's actually ridiculous.
That's almost a Kane segment as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Almost. but
Anyway,
whatever.
carry on. That'll do. It's
right.
Fog watch.
Back to you,
Ben.
Ben.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of the main stats. We halved a lot of the stats. It looked pretty even. It was just some costly errors that
Big time.
made a big
errors, yeah.
difference. As I said before, centre clearances were halved, but ours didn't seem as good. Tackles inside 50 were low again for us, 1 to 5. But again, some of it we weren't getting tackles because we were just kicking goals. Other times they were just getting it out.
Yeah.
I think the probably in our 50, probably the bone of contention was with their kick-ins when we missed. I don't know if Geelong just drew our players away or not, but
They had
Max
heaps of freedom.
Holmes or whatnot could almost pretty much run to the 50-metre line.
Yeah, that's
without,
pretty bad.
coming in contact with the player. So that I think that was probably the way Geelong structured up that pulled everyone away so that they could get an easy run out of defence. So that's something that hopefully we could improve on.
Definitely, and we're going to have to improve pretty quickly because GWS are very similar to Geelong. They got a really strong forward line, strong midfield, and probably one of the best back lines in the comp, which are definitely going to challenge our great forward line, obviously, this week.
I reckon on paper, like Adelaide and GWS are pretty similar teams. Like we've got a decent-ish midfield. They've got a better one, but our forward line's definitely, I would say,
Yeah.
pretty well on par. Maybe ours is even better. I know Jesse Hogan kicked 9 goals the other day, but whatever.
Their back line, though.
Well, we're getting Miles back this week, so
Yeah.
that is definitely going to be an improvement for us. I think it's going to be a close game for sure.
We'll get into that in a little bit, but before we do, let's talk about our votes from the game. Ben, who have you got?
So saying before the pod, this is one of those ones where you just don't really feel like giving out votes, or maybe just starting at 2, giving no one a 3. But
Oh, wow. That's going to fuck up your spreadsheet.
no, I'm not doing it. Obviously, the spreadsheet integrity comes first. So, but I don't know. I thought Maybe it was just an encouragement award because it was probably his best game for
3
the
votes
season.
encouragement. It's good encouragement.
Thought Miller, in a defence that showed a lot of errors, I thought he was relatively solid and had his best game for whether it's the season or just a little while because he seemed to be a bit down.
Interesting.
Gave him that. Risky second one. It was someone who kicked 4 goals. Apparently, you're not allowed to give those guys votes, but I did give 2
Who
to
said
Fogarty.
that?
Last week with Tex kicking 4.
Oh,
There was
have you given one to Tex this week, Ben?
No, he didn't kick 4. So
So last week, just on
You
that.
looked like on the night that you were going to give him some votes. You were pretty happy.
Well, he did do a couple of nice things there.
he
But
did. He did one really nice thing right in front of us that we got to applaud.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very good seats.
I was
Fun
in
time.
Sydney last week when you guys did the pod, obviously, and I was like cooked, so tired. I just went to bed, turned on the pod live. I listened to you guys live while I was in bed, pretty much falling asleep. So I can't remember what you said about
I'm
Tex.
glad we're
But
that entertaining. You just fall asleep.
no. I did
It's the
stay.
soothing dulcet tones,
I
Ben.
did stay awake until the end of the episode. So
Yeah.
just
Good.
yeah.
And then I did give one to Rankin. Came home very strong in that last quarter when no one else was. So that's my dodgy votes.
Cool.
How about you, Lauren?
I gave 3 to Rankin. Yeah. I'm not explaining this. 2 to Ben Keys. I'll explain this. I thought he was just working hard all night, and he didn't actually get anything too good out of it. To be honest, like I felt there was a lot of times I thought Ben was doing a lot of work, and the people around him weren't doing much. So I actually felt for him. So that's why he got 2 votes from me. And I also gave 1 vote to Wayne Miller, who I got to say I didn't really notice on the night. I guess because the play was happening on the other side of the ground, but by all accounts, he had a fantastic game. So I'm giving it to him.
Yeah,
Cool.
there's something about good seats close to the action, but I find when
Just
I'm that
missing a
low,
little bit.
it's really hard to see what's actually going on in the game.
That's right. I think it was a nice little change up and nice to be amongst the thick of the action for one night.
Yeah.
Especially a night like Gather Round.
I don't think we have votes from Sam or Nuz, so we'll go into mine. 3 votes, Peatling. I actually thought his game was...
Sam said his votes, but you go.
Peatling's game was pretty solid, 22 disposals, 5 tackles, 5 clearances, but I put that in the category of what Ben said. It's more of an encouragement award. I thought he's put together a couple of solid games. Unfortunately, he got rubbed out as well, so not the best outcome. I gave 2 to Fog for reasons we've discussed at length, including a segment. And I gave 1 to Ben Keys for similar reasons to what you said, Lauren.
Cool. Well, Sam's got 3 for Dangerfield, 2 for Darcy Fogarty, and 1 for Isaac Rankin.
Wow. 3 to Stengel. All right.
All right, well, I'm not writing them down.
Hi, I'm Tyson Edwards.
You're such a quiet achiever.
Yes, the quiet achiever. What did you have, Ben?
So I did go with Keys. I thought he achieved early and then went quiet, so he kind of did it backwards. He achieved quietly.
Very good.
3 goals, really good start. Then,
It's faded out a little bit.
How about you, Lauren?
That's why I got the 2 votes, not 3. I gave my quiet achiever. This is probably controversial to some listeners out there, but I
Rob,
actually
isn't it?
gave no. He got the quietly unachieving. No, I actually gave it to Mark Keane.
Oh.
I think Mark Keane is a polarizing defender. I think a lot of people don't really like what he does because he plays risky football. But on the night, it worked for us. A few things didn't go his way, but the way he moves the ball and his decisions, sometimes his decision making isn't the best, but he wants to play aggressively and with risk, and I'm pro that. Yes, it's not going to work every time, but I'm for it. So he gets my quiet
I will agree it wasn't his worst game.
it's certainly not one you feel comfortable
No.
necessarily. I still find him an interesting choice as our designated kick-in guy.
I don't think he's designated,
Well,
but
he seems to do the most of them.
I think
for
Worrell
us,
did a
so-
few that night, but
I don't know. I reckon I would have thought Worrell's got a better leg or more consistent one.
though I
for
think
that
thought
position.
Miller would, but
Yeah, well, you'd think that's what he's known for, Miller,
Yeah.
with his skills.
But anyway, I thought on the night Kane was pretty good, and
Yeah.
defensively we're obviously getting smashed, so he did pretty well.
I gave my quiet achiever to Isaac Rankin, who I thought, whilst the stat sheet didn't say he was quiet, he was a little bit quieter around the ground than he usually is. he still managed to get 2 goals and 25 disposals. So good job, Isaac, coming off an injury cloud. Thought that was a pretty solid game.
Sam's got one for Peatling.
Didn't ask Sam. That's all right. Thanks, Sam. Cheers.
Okay.
I should probably watch my bagging of Sam when he's watching live.
Was that it?
Hey, Sam. How's it going? That's it for that game. I hope we never have to talk about it again. Thanks.
Oh, cool. What are we doing now?
Sam's segment, I reckon, without Sam.
Oh, yep.
We need that
shit.
Eminem song without me.
Oh, no, I've got to
For
find
Sam.
the thing. Hang
It's
on.
all right. I'll just pad it out with him for a minute.
If you want to know what's in the spring, get into Rowan Jarman.
All right, goods. I've got some goods. Okay, first, let's talk about Gather Round. Gather Round was generally...
I said it was bad.
No, I mean, the whole thing,
No,
Gather
okay.
Round in general was pretty good. I mean, we only went to one game, but Dan and I,
Yeah.
we went a little bit early on Thursday and did some lurking
fun.
around the front
I
of the
enjoyed
Oval.
that.
Well, I want to talk about our celebrity spotting.
Yes, please do.
We got there like, 5:30? It was so early.
You should preface this by saying we didn't see Sam Pang, but we tried.
There's a bad segment for that.
All right, go
Dan?
on. Continue.
Way to spoil it. But no, we did see the 5 double. Well, basically, we were there for Rowie.
Yeah.
We went there for Rowie. We went early for Rowie.
And we were not disappointed.
And we weren't disappointed, not at all. We did talk to Rowie. We showed Rowie the shirt. Asked him.
Are we an officially sanctioned shirt now?
Yeah, well, look, he wasn't opposed to it, put it
Okay.
that way. But
I'll take that
he
as an
definitely
official
wasn't like,
sanction,
take
yeah.
that down.
We haven't got a cease and desist this
No,
week. yet.
he was smiling and laughing. But I did ask him, like, would you wear one? And he said, oh.
He basically said, I'm not a big head. I'm not
Yeah.
going to wear my own T-shirt.
But I was like, what about Jimmy? Would Jimmy wear one? He didn't like, he didn't like that either. Then I offered him a tote bag and he was a bit like, what the fuck?
And then I said, well, you can give one to your wife.
Anyway, we let him know that we loved him. And
He basically thinks we're wankers now, so that's fine.
oh, no, I think he just thought we were funny, to be honest. And then we bumped into none other than Caro Wilson.
Yes.
And, you know,
That was great.
I know, like, Caro is also a polarising figure, just like Mark Keane. I know some people don't like her at all, but I respect Caro.
And what
I
did you
told her
say to
so.
Caro?
And I said to Caro, absolutely respect what you do. Fuck the haters, Caro.
And then what happened?
Well, she looked at me bemusedly and was like, sure. It was like, get out of my face, footy bogan. But then I heard a small little dainty voice behind me ask, excuse me, did you swear at her? And I turned around and there were these beautiful crows duckies, lovely old ladies in their crow's gear, just wanting to check that I wasn't abusing Caro. I said no, I was swearing in support of Caro. But one of them didn't like her at all because apparently, well, she said that Caro called her sooks about the umpiring thing.
Yeah.
And I just said, look, she's paid to say that. She's got to stir the pot a little bit, you know. Anyway, they were lovely ladies. And then we went for a little stroll because we were looking for Sam Pang. That was my main goal. We went for a little stroll and then who did we walk past? Eddie Maguire. And we yelled out, Eddie. We just said his name at him, really. We were just like, Eddie.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was very nice. G'day, guys. Have a great night. Good luck.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eddie.
While you're talking about Eddie, I just remembered
Yeah.
because I was thinking about wankers. But earlier in the night, we walked past Tom, what's his name? I forgot his name now because I don't like him. The one that you...
Tom Morris.
Tom Morris. I was going to say
That's
Tom
right.
Brown, but he's disappeared. Tom Brown, hasn't
Yeah.
he? Tom Morris. What happened to Tom Brown?
I don't know.
I want to know now. Someone hit us up in the chat. What happened to Tom Brown? He was like the AFL media meme for a while. Anyway, Tom Morris, and Lauren yells out, Tom Morris, you're flogged. And he turned around like it was like...
Oh, he was looking for me, but he couldn't tell where it's coming from.
It was pretty funny.
And
Anyway,
the guy next to us thought it was pretty funny.
yeah.
I'm just an absolute fucking shithead. And then we spotted Gavin Wanganeen as well.
Yes.
We didn't talk to him. But then we came back because we were like looking for Sam Pang still. And we saw Lawrence Mooney, the Moon Man.
Yeah, I didn't know, but Lauren told me who he
Yeah,
was.
I know him. We're good friends. No, but he's a great bloke, and we had a photo. And I did ask him where's Sam Pang, and he said probably getting dumplings somewhere.
Yeah.
So just threw in a racist joke there, but I'm sure Sam would have laughed at it. All right, that's it for that good. But my second good is Lady Gaga at Coachella.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
My kids enjoyed that too.
If you haven't seen it, please watch it this weekend. She'll be on Saturday afternoon live on YouTube. And before Lady Gaga, do not miss Missy Elliott. Oh my God, Misdemeanor. She's back. Amazing set. Oh my God, I love Coachella. It's my favorite time of the year. Sitting on the couch, smoking bongs, watching some live music.
I also enjoyed Amel and the Sniffers set. I had checked that out yesterday. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool too. Yeah. Ben, saw any of that? See Lady Gaga?
There's a chance I didn't know Coachella was on.
Oh, well, now you know. Beth Gibbons played. She was on the live stream, so maybe you could check that out.
Okay.
From Portishead.
Right, yep.
Yep.
I'm with you now. Yep. Good.
Also, the Go-Go's played.
Yeah, saw a bit of that.
That was
set.
pretty shit.
Yeah.
The Misfits played. Whoa, that was awesome.
Haven't seen that.
Anyway,
Viagra
Coachella.
Boys.
Yeah, Viagra
Haven't
Boys.
seen
That
that
was
yet.
cool. Coachella's happening again this weekend. It's a long weekend. If you're sitting at home, tune in. It's a really good time. Okay.
But first, on Saturday, you got to go to Crowchella at Adelaide Oval.
That's right.
Sorry.
You probably actually missed Lady Gaga for the Crows game, unfortunately.
That's it.
Do you have any goods?
No.
Ben?
Unprepared for goods.
Unprepared?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's get to bads.
I'm going to try.
Footwear sacrificed at half price and equipment slashed to half price. Rowan
see that,
Jarman's
Sam?
huge half price sale. Don't miss it.
Two fucking hands, Sam. Vardy says, Tom Brown resigned from Channel 7 in July 2023 and moved to Sydney to take on a role as a video content producer at MA Financial Group.
Oh, my God.
That is some Ben-level research, Vardy.
I don't know if that's a fall from grace or who knows.
Okay,
Anyway.
well, obviously the first bad is not meeting Sam Pang.
Yeah.
And also not being able to get front bar tickets again for the third year in a row. Though they were hiding them in spots on Thursday. They hid some at the Crows. They hid some at Alberton.
Physical tickets.
Like to get tickets. And they hid some right next to the bridge where I would normally drive on my way home, but I couldn't get there and I missed out. Well, we went to the open training anyway and spoke to Dan Curtin, but I'm pretty devo. And the club, again, I told them in the multiple meetings we had last year, I want front bar tickets and they did not pull through. So I'm pretty disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Sam Pang was nowhere to be found. So another year by Sam and you've escaped me, but next year.
I wonder
it's
if he
not
was
happening.
actually out the game or if he just...
He probably went straight home after
Yeah.
the front bar, let's be real.
Yeah.
No, actually, I don't think that's true. I think he probably went to the Barossa. Anyway, my next bad is, well, it's a bit of a combo of two, and that is abusing players over the race.
Yeah.
Fans, why are we doing this? One, Dan already said the booing of Patrick Dangerfield was bad.
Two, grow the fuck up.
Well, according to Rory Sloan, whatever this gentleman said, I don't know why am I calling him a gentleman? Whatever this dickhead said to Patrick over the race was really personal and like fucked.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Man child.
We actually we don't care that Patrick Dangerfield went to Geelong. We knew he was going to do that.
Yeah.
He gave all he could to the Adelaide Football Club.
What, he played like 8 years for the Crows?
Yeah.
Come on.
Give him a fucking break.
Yeah.
He's not like the most likable person, maybe to some people.
It's not-
I don't want shorter quarters, Patrick.
Oh,
but I also
actually-
don't need you to be abused over the
Yeah.
race.
That's not the treatment we'd want Dawson getting every time we
Absolutely
played
not.
at the SCG.
No.
What kind of pig-headed idiot do you have to be?
I just
honestly?
think it's rubbish. I don't care if you think Danger's a wanker or whatever. Like, you're allowed to think people are wankers and whatever, but you don't have to yell over the fence at them like a child. Like, I don't know. Like, Danger was my favourite player when he was at the Crows. I was disappointed when he left, but I don't think he's a flog like lots of other people do. Like, that's just my opinion.
I reckon I could have a beer with Danger easy.
Yeah.
I
I think people just have like tall poppy syndrome.
it's just absolutely rubbish. Like, you can be loyal to your football club and you don't have to hate people who've left the football club. Like, it's like, people booing Billy Frampton. Billy Frampton couldn't get a game with us. He was a second. Of course he's going to go to another club. Why would you boo him for that?
He also
he's
has a
just done
premiership,
what's good for his
so-
career and he's got a premiership medal. It's just, and it's beyond baffling to me. I just don't get it. Second bad in that is Bailey Smith getting fined for giving the double bird.
Yeah.
I know obviously the precedent was set with Harley Reid the other week, but why should Bailey Smith get fined for that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't think it'll impact him greatly.
I also
It was a
think
pretty low fine.
Bailey Smith's someone who I actually do think is a flog, but I'm not going to yell it over to him over the fence to him.
I actually don't think he's a flog either. Like, I think he's just a hot guy who knows he's hot and is taking advantage of it and is generally quite well spoken and nice.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm glad.
And I'll throw
I'm
that.
actually glad he doesn't regret it. That's good because he shouldn't regret retaliating to someone.
Well, it's just like, oh, who wouldn't do that? You just feel like, he could have given him absolute like bollocksing verbal spray as well.
Yeah.
Well, he just did the most courteous thing of giving him the double bird and leaving it. Oh, Sam's just piping in with some bads, which are like generally pretty good. Bolter
bad?
potentially returning and Adam Easy saying he's been punished enough.
Did you say easy? Adam Easy?
What's his name?
Uze.
Uze. I was like, is it
That's
Uzi,
Elliot
Easy,
Yeo areas.
Yizzy?
Ratagolia.
I'm going to call him Yizzy. Adam Yizzy.
Adam Izzy.
Adam Yizzy thinks that Noah Bolter has been punished enough. What say you?
No, he has not.
I feel like the punishment is yet to come. That's the whole point of
Well, he hasn't-
being
he hasn't-
sentenced.
justice
hasn't
system.
been legally punished at all yet.
That's right.
He's about to have that happen.
You're wrong,
I
Adam
don't
Easy.
think public shaming through a CCTV footage is punishment enough. Sorry.
No, that's just,
what
that's
he
just
did.
social media.
And I don't know the context behind the event because there's a few rumours going around that it was over a slice of pizza or the guy that he punched was like trying to like be creepy to 18-year-olds or some shit. But the footage is like a guy out of control. Like that's a guy who can't handle his emotions anger. And yeah, I'm sorry.
Well,
we
and
can't be doing
normally
that.
the saying is innocent until proven guilty, but he's pled guilty. So
But
Exactly.
And also, I will say in argument
yeah.
for Bolter that it depends on the flavour of the pizza. If that's what it was about.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
And Sam's next bad, and I'm so glad he's put this up because I forgot about it and it's definitely on my list. 2 Team Town. The new Channel 7 show with one Andrew Hayes and
oh my
the
God.
Crows' arch nemesis, Josh Money, talk about
Wait.
Port and Crows rivalry in a
What?
TV show. This is real.
Oh, no.
And guess who is one of their guest presenters on the show?
Not Kane.
Oh, better.
Chad.
No.
Warren.
was this their first guest that they had on?
Yeah.
Tommy Jonas.
Nope.
Oh,
No, sorry. Co-presenter.
okay.
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. Baggers.
Oh, no. Who's he talking about? Because he doesn't like the Crows.
Hey, like what? You couldn't find anyone else? Oh, Jesus.
Bryce fucking Gibbs.
Who the fuck wants to watch Josh Money and Bryce Gibbs talking about the Crows?
No one.
Literally no one.
Please don't watch that, everybody.
And that fucking Josh Money guy, like, all right, I'm not going to pile on, but he was at that open training we went to on Wednesday, and I saw someone yell out to him, and I don't know what they said. I don't actually know what they said, but all I can imagine is that they would have told him he's a flog, because what else would they be saying? And he was like waving, like, oh yeah, how you going? Like, no, you don't have fans, Josh Money. You don't have fans. You have enemies. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no fan.
Especially
No
at
one
the
is a
Crows.
fan of you. I'm sorry. Anyway, we'll stop talking about that. But yeah, that is a must not watch. Absolutely.
Oh, that is diabolical.
Any other bads?
No, that's bad enough, I think.
All right, cool. Should we do some, or what should we do now?
Nuff.
Nuff teams Nuff?
Yes, I had a great chat today with our regular GWS Nuff. So let's cue that one up and have a listen. He couldn't be here live with us,
No,
unfortunately.
you couldn't. Sorry. I've just got a
You might need to
beautiful-
do the stinger
beautiful picture of him.
All
Oh,
right.
wait. Where is it?
somewhere.
Oh, didn't it just play then? It was supposed to play.
Or maybe it did. I don't know.
No, it didn't.
I
That's
didn't
dumb.
hear anything. No.
I think Sam accidentally turned it off. Why can't I find the button? Oh, this is a classic.
The hardest button to button.
This is what happens when
Just
Sam
gonna
leaves
need
me to
a
do
live
it.
rendition from you here, Ben.
Enough is enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Another team's enough.
This week on another Team's Nuff. We're welcoming back out of the pod and one-eyed giant Nuff. You might know him from his stellar acting repertoire, including Underground, the Julian Assange story, or Jacob Cameron on Home and Away, Bozza, if you don't mind, or as Shane Warne himself in Warnie. Welcome back, Alex Williams.
You couldn't keep me away. Not a chance. I'm back for round 3.
That's it. And if you didn't notice that, Bozza is one of our regulars who does our selections from the sauna, and he is a massive Home and Away fan. So I thought I'd better drop that in there.
Yeah. I wasn't the best hero on my very short stint of Home and Away, but it was good fun.
My mum loves Home and Away, so I'm sure she appreciated it. But with GWS at 4-1 and having won 4 of the last 5 against the Crows, including 3 at Adelaide Oval, are you feeling quietly or loudly confident ahead of this weekend?
Yeah, I'm usually pretty loud no matter what. But last year, I think I came in very confident, and then you guys turned around and had a second quarter where you kicked 7 goals and smacked us. So I'm feeling less confident this year. I do feel better about playing actually at Adelaide Oval than the AFLX pitch that is Norwood Oval, but that we played the Saints in last week. But the Giants are in pretty good form. And pretty healthy as well, which is rare for us. So I think it'll be a really, really good contest. I think your forward line is premium and ours is as well. And I think that's kind of going to be the big matchup, your 3 talls versus our 3.5. So that's the package, Jake Stringer being half a tall there.
Yeah. Who knows what the package is going to deliver on the day. But did you get along to Gather Round at all?
No, I didn't make it to Gather Round. I've never been to Gather Round yet, but just waiting for the invite from waiting for those Crow funds to get me over there.
I know. One day, I mean, if we have another blockbuster game with you guys this week, maybe they'll make that the marquee game next year. Who knows?
I heavily, heavily doubt we will ever make it out of Norwood Oval, sadly.
I do love the parade, though. It's a good oval. But
I think it'd be great if you weren't playing the Saints there every year. It's kind of off Broadway, but hey.
Yeah, well, let's talk about GWS this season so far. Obviously, you made light work of the Saints, who are starting to get a bit of momentum. Is this genuinely the year, or after losing so many players over the years, and are you guys deficient anywhere? Share what your thoughts are, because we need a bit of a leg up.
Yeah, it's interesting hearing everyone kind of talk about what the Giants would be this year. I feel like last year, I know it was like a devastating straight sets exit from finals, but oddly enough, I feel like it was our best chance to win it. The last 2 years under Kingsley have felt like that. Under Cameron, we played a very different contested style of football that was slow and defensive and methodical, and it just never translated to big finals, I think. I mean, we won a lot under him, but we kind of only made, 2019, people say that's the closest we ever came. But I actually feel like, being 40 points up on the Swans and the Lions, and then to lose that was pretty devastating. But this year, people said we lost a lot of depth. Which we do every year, Perryman obviously to the Pies hurt. The Adelaide Crows raided our homegrown, full-grown Pete. He went from being a little Peteling in Western Sydney to being a full-grown Pete living out in Adelaide, and then Isaac Cumming as well. So we lost a winger, a midfielder, a very dependable defender, but we've been drafting really well over the last few years, so we've kind of had guys step up, and our twos team is looking pretty good too. We've got Lecalier in there, we've got Leak, we've got Rouston, we've just got about 18 small forwards ready to go. So we kind of Gruzhevsky as well, a tall forward.
Yeah.
So we do have a bit of depth. I think the only area we sort of lack it is maybe on the wing, which is nothing new for us, but that's where Isaac Cumming was probably the biggest loss, I think, of that group. But yeah, I feel like we're definitely in the window. We've looked pretty good to start the season, but these big games against away in Adelaide. These are the ones that we've historically loved to come in and take and steal the 4 points. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's going to be what happens this weekend.
And
to
you've
your listeners' chagrin.
I know, and you've got a bit of luck as well with Jimmy Peatling being robbed out for a week too. So,
well, I've always said he's an absolute thug. And you can't let those guys play. You can't let those guys play. No, he's an amazing tackler. I think he's just so good at it that sometimes he just gets it a little wrong. But he's out.
He was a bit stiff, I thought, but
Yeah, I feel you.
Well, our another worry or concern on the other foot for GWS, our ruckman big Rob Berta O'Brien has divided opinion this week on the back of not one but two 5 disposal, no contested mark performances in a row. Do you think Kieran Briggs is quaking in his boots? Do you think some fans or do you think our fans are a little unfair on our big man and he's a genuine threat?
It's that Mad Men quote. I don't even think about you at all. It's, I don't think he's even thought about it as far as Briggsy thinking about O'Brien. But it'd be interesting. He's a really tough ruckman, Briggs, and sometimes those.
O'Brien for a second.
No, I wasn't. I don't know too much about O'Brien. I just know that Adelaide fans do not like him. But no, I think that he gets a lot of clearances, Briggs, and that's kind of his strength, his follow-up work. So hopefully he does a fair bit of that. But the contest I'm really looking forward to is seeing what our backline, which I rate as kind of the best in the comp, plays against your forward line, which has been lauded. You've got 3 big, strong, wrestling, leading forwards up there. And we've got, Sam Taylor, who's the best defender in the comp, Jack Buckley, who is, doesn't get the plaudits, but is a very, very highly rated player. And then it's the third one that gets you, right? That seems to be what I've seen from Adelaide. So it's whether Himmelberg goes to them or we back in Iden to be able to take a bit of a bigger body. So I think that's kind of where it'll land. I'm not super worried about your smalls is Rochelle still out, isn't he?
He's still out for another couple.
Yeah. So it's not super worried about the smalls, but, famous last words.
Yeah, that's it. We've got Alex Neil-Bullen running around, so that he can be helpful. But, similar to the Crows and their love of Rory's over the years, GWS love a Lockie. Sam has asked... Well, Sam, a co-host, has asked us, is Lockie Ash the new Lockie Whitfield?
Yes, pretty much. I mean, it feels like Lockie Ash has been a slow burn. And for those of you who don't really know him, we picked him at pick 4, I believe. In the same year, we picked up Tom Green because we got Tom Green as an academy product. So managed to get ahead of the bid for that and picked up Lockie Ash. And he's copped a fair bit. He's just always played and he's always been sort of middling. And hasn't really lived up to that pick 4 potential. This year seems to be the year that he's decided to go to the next level. He's a farm boy and he's very no nonsense. Kind of very different to Lockie Whitfield in a way, who's quite flashy. But he's started to use his run a lot more. He doesn't look frazzled anymore. He's taking on the game. I think he's rated as one of the highest defenders in the league at the moment. So, look, if we can have one on each side, Whitfield and Ash, the Lockie brigade. Yeah. We've got a lot of Lockies and a lot of Tobys. We've got like 3 Tobys in the team at the moment. So,
well, we've cut down to 1 Rory these days. So we gave one to Port recently. But
yeah. How do you feel like your back line lines up against, a Hogan, a Green, a Riccardi, a Cadman, a Daniels?
Yeah, look,
Daniels is out, sorry.
I'm not overly excited about it, I'll be honest. Our back line's been leaking a lot of goals this year and did get exposed with Jeremy Cameron last week in particular and Paddy Dangerfield. So, I think the GWS forward line is a pretty scary proposition at this point. So we'll see. We are bringing back Nick Murray, though, so that definitely helps us out with a bit of a taller player potentially to go to Jesse Hogan. So we shall see.
Straight into Hogan, you think?
I know. I don't know if that's the move, but we'll wait and see its selections.
Well, for those who actually, are heading to the ground, who listen, I would say that just for a little bit, do try and watch Jesse Hogan and Aaron Cadman do the little do-si-do in the goal square. Just when they don't have the ball, they will spend as much time as it takes to change the matchup.
Interesting.
So it's quite a fun watch, them putting screens on to just get the matchup they're looking for and then expose them, which is what Hogan has been doing for a good 2 years now.
We'll definitely keep an eye out for that. And another question from Sam, and potentially something else that Lauren might be looking out for, is: are Adam Daddy 2 Kingsley's pipes getting bigger?
Honestly, I think now that he's up eating Clem's chicken in Sydney, there's no chicken in the country that has more protein in it than that. So I think the move up to Sydney, he's looking bigger and stronger every time I see him.
Yeah,
I was asking someone at the club the other day if any player could outbench him, and I'm pretty sure the answer was no. I'm pretty sure he's got the club record at the moment. So
not many coaches in that position. I certainly would not look at him sideways. But
no.
Now, one more silly question, but you may not know about this. But the Crows have recently employed a sax player, or a sax man, if you will, to play sax solos before the games to pump the crowd up. As someone who has previously played Kirk Pengilly of In Excess fame, do you have any sax skills? And is this something you could rip off for GWS games, or maybe a duet at a Crows versus GWS game?
Interesting. I seem to remember In Excess actually going to, and Kirk and whatnot, going to a Port game to do the big intro, the Never Tear Us Apart, didn't they, at one point? Yeah, I like the idea of brass instruments, but look, we've got enough brass up at the Giants, to be fair. And I will say that in that In Excess show, whenever I did have the saxophone, it was a lot of turning away from camera. It was a lot of nice movements away, making sure that no one could see what the hands were doing. Because the sax skills were not good.
Maybe we need to get our guy to actually play the sax for you, and you can just mime.
Those are more my areas. As the hotel staff on that gig would have told you.
Love that. Now, one of our parts of predictions for the game is the Dennis Armfield Award. You've been introduced to this before. It's basically the player that's going to come out of the sky and just rip the Crows apart out of nowhere. A la Dennis Armfield kicking 3 barrels from outside 50 against the Crows a few years back and being the hero of Carlton at the time. I know GWS, it's always hard to ask because there's not many weak players or anyone that's terribly out of form generally. But do you have a vibe for anyone who just might blow it apart this week?
Oh, look, I think, I have 2 options here for you, and you're welcome to take whichever one you'd like. The one that hasn't exploded yet that we're waiting for is Jake Stringer.
Yes,
it's been 3 weeks. He's kicked 2 goals and they were both from frees. But he has created a lot of chances. And I do just feel like every person that I talk to that goes for a club that we're playing that week is like, oh, he always does it to us. He always does it to us. I don't know what your experience is like.
No, he's done it
Stringer.
to us before, mainly when he was at the Bulldogs, but yeah.
Right. So there's one option there. He's due, is what I'll say. He's due. He's building. The other one that I would love to see, but he's more of a pass-first guy. He doesn't get on the board heaps, but he had, last year he came in for his first year and he played 22 games. He looked so good last week. He'll kill you by a million cuts. He's just such an accurate kick inside 50. So while he might not be the one that is kicking the goals, I think he will be the one that will set them all up. So I'm going to go with the milkman, Harvey Thomas.
Yes, it sounds quite
the Milky Bar kid.
Ominous at this stage, and can't say I'm looking forward to this week. But I will ask you:
Do you genuinely think that the Crows will win this week, or you're?
You know what? I don't tip with my heart, and unfortunately, I don't think we've got the form at the moment. The last couple of weeks, I think GWS are the toughest of the 3 teams that we've played.
Right.
So yeah, not feeling overly confident. Love to be wrong, obviously, but I won't be tipping the Crows.
Interesting.
Yes, but what's your prediction? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think the margin will be, and who will win it?
I think it'll be a pretty close game for the first like 3 quarters. I'm hoping that our legs we're such a quick team. And I'm hoping the legs will just run over the top. My prediction on form is our back line's very good. Your forward line's very good. Our forward line's very good. Your back line isn't great.
Yeah,
That's kind of how I see it. And I go, well, if you go like, okay, the forward lines are equal, the back lines aren't, and the midfields are, I think maybe we pip you in the midfield. In fact, probably. I'd say just on that basis, I'd say it's a sort of like a 3-1. So I'm hoping we get over the line, but I also know Adelaide, really tough game. I'll go us by 90 points.
I hope not. But look, I'll take a close loss. But no, we actually, hopefully we're a good chance. We'll see how we go. I think you've summarised it really well. It's going to be the battle of the forward lines and who can get on top. Coming up against what I think I probably agree with you is one of the best back lines in the league. It's going to be a tough ask. But Alex, thank you so much for coming on Here We Grow again. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And I have said before, but GWS, apart from this weekend, are my second team.
We love that.
Probably thanks to their social media and getting to talk to you on the regular about it. So,
and I will say to the listeners, I do a history podcast, AFL history podcast. So we did the history of the showdown this week. So if you feel like having a nice little sojourn back into the history of the showdown, check out They Might Become Giants, a podcast I do with a rugby league fan.
Amazing. We'll spruik that on our socials as well. Thanks, Alex. So, cheers for the heads up and enjoy the game this week. Hopefully not too much.
Appreciate it. Can't Giants.
Thanks so much, Alex.
Oh, yeah.
Alex, you legend. Love you, mate. Thanks so much for chatting to Dan.
It's probably, I need you guys around me for timekeeping, I think, because it was a bit of a long one. But I did genuinely
we love a yarn with Alex.
enjoy having a chat with Alex. It was good. Yeah, he's very generous with his time.
Yeah, well, it's a big game for us this weekend,
It is.
Shall we talk about it? Or?
Yeah, Ben, I know you've got some notes there because I can see your screen. Do you want to talk a little bit about this week's game?
A little bit. What I've got written probably looks more expansive than what I've actually got, but we'll see.
Okay.
They're sitting third, 4-1. They've beaten Collingwood, Melbourne, Eagles and Saints. So realistically,
Collingwood's probably the one good team. Saints is a bit up in the air, isn't it? I mean, Saints have been good.
Saints have won games, but I wouldn't have thought they've had the toughest run so far. The game they've lost was against Hawthorn down in bloody Launceston with their long shadows and whatnot. So I think they're doing well, but they're a little untested and against really strong competition. So
yep.
Until this week when they play something.
Maybe that's something for us to just cling on to some bit of hope. Stats-wise, Geelong changed up a bit how they played against us, but generally the Cats are a bit of a kick mark team, whereas GWS are the opposite. They're more higher with the handballs and that quick running transition with that. So they're third for handballs, pretty low down for kicks. It'll be interesting. We'll have to really be on our guard not to allow just that easy run through our zone or however we stack up for our defence, because our defenders really need us to slow down that ball coming into the forward line or into our back line, because they've got some decent targets up there. In terms of the arm field, I also thought a bit of a Jake Stringer seemed like the one to go a bit nuts on us.
Yep. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, but so we'll see. One thing, we don't have a short break to complain about. We've got a nice 9-day break, so we should be nice and fresh.
Should be very fresh,
Murray back in is nice.
Yes.
Possible ins, I mean, I don't want to step on Boz's toes too much, but Murray sounds like he'll be in. I'm wondering whether it's not like for like, but maybe Murray for Shoal, Dowling for Peatling, and Taylor gets a full game. Mm-hmm. And then whether Sid gets another sub vest or someone else gets the sub, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that would be interesting. It did sound to me like it looks like Zach Taylor might get a full game this week.
I think
going by the press conference.
Well, we need that forward in there. So
yeah,
and it was a nice goal. We got a nice view of his goal when he kicked
Great
that when
goal.
he came on.
Yep.
So I'd love to see him get a full game.
For sure.
One little thing though is, we finally look like we might actually get some rain. So our big, tall, 3-headed monster, we'll get to see how it goes when it's wet
Yep.
and slippery. So that could be interesting. It could be interesting to see how we go with where Curtin plays. There's a few selection quandaries. Like, how are we going to line up after a loss?
Should we hear from the man himself?
We should.
Yeah.
It's like a sauna in here.
Afternoon, guys. Round 5, gather round from the sauna. Selections this week, interesting. I suggest that we need a bit of a fresh...
It's like a sauna in here. Yes.
Afternoon, guys. Round 5, gather round from the sauna. Selections this week, interesting. I suggest that we need a bit of a freshen up after the extremely short week.
Ouch, Bozza.
Who's the big Scottish boy?
McAndrew.
Oh, of course. You know that Boz has gone off someone when he just names them by the number.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It was 4. Now it's 43's in.
Well, yeah. Generally, my thoughts on the game this week are, like I said, I think we're pretty relatively evenly matched, except for our defensive unit, and their mids are probably a bit better than ours. However, we've gone up against teams who have mids better than ours and have been better at being midfield. So I'm not really I'm just towing the line on that one. I feel like we could either perform or we won't perform. I think it's one or the other. I think we'll definitely come out to make a statement this week, definitely, because it's
crossed.
nothing more embarrassing than losing to Geelong on your home ground after you've been leading by 30 points for the opening of Gather Round. So I feel like there will be a bit of a redemption arc for the Crows this week. I do think it's going to be a much closer game than any of the games we've had, except maybe the Gold Coast game. Not heaps confident, but I think if we win either this week or the Freo game, I am going to relax a little bit. We just need, I think, one of these two, or ideally both, and we're probably pretty good.
Not to do a half glass full, but if we do lose to GWS, it makes the Freo away game look a little bit harder. And then we're trying to redeem ourselves against Port the week after. So who may be on their way back up. Who knows? Let's hope not.
Apparently the Bozza segment didn't even play then, so I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, right. we heard it loud and clear.
Trust me, Bozza's out there. We'll post a clip on social
What
media.
you need to know, and what you probably garnered from our comments, is that 43 out and Zach Taylor to get a full game were a couple of the key takeaways.
Pedler was in.
Pedler
as a sub.
Pedler in as a sub, potentially, or Rolf, as he calls him. He's
Murray
gone.
in, Shoal out.
Yeah. Yeah, good summary, Ben.
Yep.
What else do you want to add about this week?
One area that I'm a little bit cautious about is they've noted the fact that we're leaking too many goals, and it's going to be a big focus of ours is making sure we don't give up as many goals. The last time we said that, we forgot how to kick goals ourselves. So I'm hoping we can find a way to stop the bleeding, but still be able to cause some damage going the other way, because we well and truly overcorrected last year, and geez, we waited for so long to just see a single goal at so many games last year. It's really nice seeing lots of goals this year. So I'd really like to see us still utilise our strength, which is our forward line.
It's going to be really interesting to see how the team can adapt when they obviously need to.
And what they see is what they need to tighten up. What is it that they think they need to improve at?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to play the buzzer again. I know you guys have heard it, but
Works.
no one heard it. And I don't know if you guys realised, but Bozza sent his selections 3 times today.
I did
So
see.
I
There
can't
was a
not
couple
play
earlier
it.
in the week, and then one.
Evening, guys.
Yeah.
Quick run, quick jump into the sauna. Round 6, Orange Tsunami at home. 3 changes to the team. Buckets obviously out, suspended. That's shit for this week. I want to see the back of 43. Had enough of him. Again, same old shit he delivers all year, every year. And Shoal out in Rolf Pedler, the big Scottish boy, and Murray back to try and shore up this leaky roof down there at the moment. Not very confident, but I'll chuck in Rolf on the subs bench and give Taylor a full game too. He deserves it. It looks classy out there. Orange Tsunami by 34 points. Thanks, guys. Speak to you next week.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, Boz. This is what happens when you leave me in charge of the technical
Nah,
things.
you're doing good, Lauren.
I haven't seen a great deal of difference between previous weeks.
That's it.
Thanks for spiroking that. Well, look, I've got some social media to get onto, unless you want to talk about something else or you want to give a tip for the game, or you want to wait till
No,
social
I
media's
gave my
done.
tip.
Oh, you did too?
Yeah. I can't change my mind now.
I think it's going to be pretty close. I want to say we're going to win by a goal.
I had a 13-point win. Going to try and keep the faith. We have been overall playing pretty good football.
Well,
We have, yeah. I think we can bring it back.
Genuinely hope that you two are right and I'm wrong.
I mean, like you said, GWS is the second team. I think it's my second. They're my second team. Also, just by the way, did you know GWS do a second team membership for $80?
Oh my God.
I think we might have to hit up the Huey Crow account, maybe get onto that.
Oh man.
Well, imagine if the grand final, if it was a GWS and Crows, we got 2 opportunities to get grand final tickets if you're a member. So just saying. Anyway, let's do social media.
Out of bounds. On the hill.
Yes.
I'm liking these upgrades you're doing this week. It's
That was like being in the Twilight Zone. All right.
Vardy just said, don't need another game decided by 1 kick, Lauren. You're so right. That is so true. Hey, so the other week we actually got a voicemail and I didn't listen to it because it was from an American number. I thought, oh, this has got to be a spam call. It actually turns out it was a legitimate message. So they didn't leave their name. So I just want to send my massive apologies to whoever left this message. I will play it now. It is weeks old, so it's not actually relevant, but I do want to play it because I was supposed to play it last week and I forgot. Thank you so much for tuning in all the way from the USA. Here we go.
Hey, I'm an American Crows fan. Started watching when they were pretty terrible because I emailed teams in the AFL saying, what team should I support? They sent me a membership pack for free. Been a fan ever since. It's been hard years, but it's a beautiful sport, and I love it. It's the best game I think I've ever seen the Crows play. I don't care if St. Kilda sucks. That was fucking awesome. If they play like that every game this season, they're making finals. It's going to be a historic year for the Crows. I can feel it. Young guns playing good. Off-season attributions playing good. Just flawless. I love it. I even like Matthew Nix now.
Well, sir, please call back and give us your updated views because I'm not sure if your opinion's changed in the last few weeks.
And
but
I also don't care if the Saints are shit. So
yeah,
there you
that's
go.
right. Well, I'm glad he's on board with Matthew Nicks now. So massive apologies for not playing that earlier. Thank you so much for getting in contact. I love that. All right, we do have another message as well, and I haven't screened this, so who knows what it is.
Oh,
There you go, guys. Big Nate here. I'm not going to keep this short. I'll keep it medium. All right, medium size, like maybe just under fucking Murphy's size.
Oh,
we did well, right? 21 points down twice, came back. Did all right. But the fucking umpires, again, put a fist straight up our ass. Ruin everyone. Why do we all have to say that bullshit? Oh no, sorry. Fucking sorry. That sign's not good enough anymore, you pieces of shit. Do some fucking training. Have some training. Every week, do some training. If the rules change, do the training for it. Alright? Commentator and the people are like, he should have taken a mark. He should have marked it. He got spear tackled by 110 fucking kilo backman. Right in the thoracic. Anyone would block the ball. Like, fire out. Anyway, Trot Murphy, piece of crap. Again, I don't know why. He must have pissed at his nicks or fucking, it must be a bull convention where they, where they all go there and they stand there naked and fucking Murphy got a photo too. But yeah, they bring Crouch back in, Pebble should have fucking been in, or in Bond to do a tag and run around, or he's a piece of shit as well. But yeah, bring on Geelong. Let's go.
Oh shit! Well, Nathan's message was old too.
Yeah, it was.
He did actually message me and said I left a rant and I didn't get it. So the phone's playing up and not bringing me my voicemails quick enough.
Next week we'll be getting live reactions about the
this week,
of the Gold Coast camp from a few years ago. See what people thought of that. So yeah.
Oh my God! You didn't just
Ben, fuck off.
Ben, you did not just mention the camp.
Why not?
Oh,
wow.
Well, is that it?
I hope so.
Can it be? Or do you have any backyard updates, Ben?
Busy times, trees in the ground.
How are the
wait, I haven't got the thing up.
How are the deciduous trees? Is that what you're talking about?
They're deciduous singing.
Oh, hello.
I don't know if Ben's seen the video, but it's so stupid.
Why did the song cut off so abruptly?
I don't know. It's because it's got a transition thing. And the camera's going again.
Ben's backyard. I'll have you all know that
Camera's no shit, Sam.
I did have an audio clip for technical difficulties as well, which we don't have tonight. Ben.
Yeah, that was mainly it. Yeah, trees are in. It's always a bit nerve-wracking when you plant a tree and it suddenly looks like it's dying, but that's just because it's losing its leaves, hopefully. Just that's what it does. I guess I'll find out in spring. But yeah, they're all going well. The yard's starting to take shape. It's pretty exciting times.
As someone who's waiting for your tutorage at my house after a year and a half not having you over, I'm still just trying to keep plants alive at this point, or revive and survive.
Yeah, well, in terms of, we have been pretty slack on the productive garden, but we have had the biggest crop of eggplants this year. My goodness, I made a massive baba ganoush this week.
Wow.
And that was very tasty. Very tasty. You're familiar with the baba ganoush?
I am.
Yes.
Yum.
Very nice. And then another one you might have remembered from a year or two ago, made that eggplant pickle.
Oh, I do.
Went for round two of that.
It was a highlight.
Round two of that. So
highlight of you didn't bring any in?
I haven't bottled it yet. I can bring a jar in. That'd go with something we could get from here. Sure.
What about those other pickles you made, Ben? They were so yummy.
Were the jalapeno ones.
Just the regular pickles.
Oh, the cucumber ones. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get as many kiwis this year, so I didn't get around to doing any of those unfortunately this year. But I think we still got some from last year. It was that prodigious. So yeah, I can bring another one of those in as well.
Well, there you have it.
Something to snack on.
There you have it, team. If Ned McHenry can have a fishing show, if Ned McHenry can have a fishing show on 5AA, Ben can have a gardening show. So
or just a ram.